Rain lashed against the windows of my cramped Brooklyn apartment, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. Jack, wasn't your typical fairy tale hero. No magic beans, no giant to slay. My beanstalk was a Wall Street skyscraper, and the giant I was facing wore a tailored suit and commanded a fortune. His name was Arthur Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, and he was dead. Detective Mallory, a woman whose cynicism could curdle milk, stood amidst the chaos. Sterling's penthouse was a battlefield, shattered glass, overturned furniture, and a single, gleaming golden goose egg lying incongruously on the Persian rug. Looks like a robbery gone wrong, Mallory drawled, her gaze sweeping over the scene. I knew better. Sterling had hired me, a private investigator with a less than stellar reputation, just days ago. His request? Find the source of his company's sudden, inexplicable success. He'd muttered about magic, about impossible deals, and about a golden goose. I'd thought he was losing it, a stressed-out billionaire cracking under pressure. Now, staring at that ridiculous egg, I wasn't so sure. My investigation started at Sterling Industries. The place buzzed with nervous energy. Sterling's ambitious but icy VP, Victoria Chase, was the prime suspect in Mallory's eyes. She'd practically inherited the company, and her alibi was flimsy. But something about her felt off. Too composed. Too eager to cooperate. I delved deeper, following the money trail. Sterling's recent deals were indeed miraculous. His company had secured contracts that should have been impossible, outbidding competitors by ludicrous margins. The source? A series of shell corporations, all leading back to rural upstate New York. My beanstalk wasn't just a metaphor. I drove upstate, to a forgotten farming community. There, nestled amongst rolling hills, was a dilapidated farmhouse. It belonged to a reclusive old woman named Martha. She was wary, her eyes darting nervously. But when I showed her a picture of the golden egg, her face crumpled. He promised he'd leave us alone, she whispered, her voice trembling. He said he wouldn't take any more. Martha told me a story of ancient pacts, of a real golden goose, and of the magic that fueled Sterling's success. She'd given Sterling the goose's eggs, believing he would use the wealth to help their community. Instead, he'd become greedy, demanding more and more. Returning to New York, I confronted Chase. She confessed. She hadn't killed Sterling, but she'd discovered his secret. She'd tried to blackmail him, demanding a larger share of the profits. He'd refused, a violent argument had ensued, and in the chaos, he'd stumbled, hitting his head on the corner of his desk. The golden egg, dislodged during the struggle, was just a macabre souvenir. Mallory arrested Chase, the case seemingly closed. But something still gnawed at me. The timing was too perfect. Chase's blackmail attempt, Sterling's accidental death. It felt staged. I went back to Martha. I asked her about the pact, about the real magic. She explained that the goose laid only one golden egg a year. Sterling had received his first egg months ago. The egg at the crime scene. It was too new. Then it hit me. The golden egg wasn't just a symbol of wealth. It was a symbol of power. And someone else knew its secret. Someone who had orchestrated the entire scenario. I returned to Sterling Industries. This time, I wasn't looking at Chase. I was looking at Sterling's seemingly loyal, longtime assistant, Mr. Finch. He was quiet, unassuming, always in the background. But he knew. He'd been with Sterling from the beginning. He'd seen the goose, understood the power. I confronted him. He didn't deny it. He'd manipulated Chase, pushing her to blackmail Sterling. He'd accidentally bumped Sterling's desk during the argument. He'd even planted the fresh golden egg, knowing it would throw suspicion off him. He wanted the power for himself. Sterling was a fool, Finch hissed, his mild demeanor vanishing. He squandered the magic. I will use it wisely. The twist? The real giant wasn't Sterling. It was the unassuming Finch, hiding in plain sight, manipulating everyone like puppets on a string. And the real magic wasn't just in the golden egg. It was in the cunning of a man who knew how to exploit greed and ambition. My Jack and the Beanstalk had a darker, more sinister ending than any fairy tale. The giant had won, and I, the supposed hero, was left with the chilling realization that sometimes, the greatest monsters wear ordinary suits and blend into the background.